Make sure YouTube's going. That should be going good too. Yep, we're good on YouTube as well. Sick. Let's get into it, shall we? Picking up where we left off. That is where we are picking up on this banner dude. Mike, where you been? Where have I been? I have been on earlier today. You mustn't have caught me. We finished off one more of the Stern Guard veterans that we've been working on. But the last couple of days, if you haven't seen me, I've been working. Been away for work and stuff. So, not a whole lot of hobby time, to be honest, which has been a bit sad, but it's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, we just finished off, was it this guy? No, this one. Finished this guy off earlier today. Pretty happy with how he turned out. Very much in line with the rest of the dudes that we've been painting. Thanks, dude. But yeah, man's got to work indeed. Got to make a living somehow, you know. So I thought what we'd do for now anyway is just slap down a couple of base coats, get this banner painted up in line with the robe. Love the colors on him. Oh, thanks, dude. I don't know if it's showing up on your screen properly, but it looks like purple multicolored banner. It's definitely not. It's meant to be green, but hopefully it's showing up as green. Probably a little bit too thin. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think it's because, like, look at the paintbrush. It's like purple green. I think it's detecting it as like a green screen when it is actually green. But that's all right. Not much I can do about that. I have no idea why it's doing that. And I think that's only the case on TikTok, because when I look on the YouTube stream, it looks green. So it must be a weird thing with TikTok going on. Not sure why that is. Asaya, the shading on the armor is top tier. Thank you, dude. It is a little bone recipe I cooked up, and very happy with how it's looking. Tommy, Deathwing. Yeah, Deathwing colors, but Stern Guard veteran is what this guy is. It's part of a commission piece. I was just showing some of the models earlier on. So this is where we're going to get to. So we're painting up Banner Boy at the moment, but here are the final guys. That's the final result that we're looking for, all said and done. Boston, look, it looks pretty cool. Thank you. And Hans Monkman, getting my starter set soon. Any tips for painting for the first time? Ooh, what is your starter set for first off? Because then I can maybe tell you some tips specifically on those particular models if I know them. But as a beginner hobbyist, just get paint on the model, my friend, and just try and be working with as thin paints as you can. You don't want it too thin, because then it'll take ages to paint. Like this banner is probably slightly too thin, the paint that I'm using, but that's okay because I'm used to that. You just don't want to be too thick, because no matter what you do, if it's too thick, it just won't look as what you think in your head, if you know what I mean. Sire, you should be jealous. I'm jealous. Keep having fun with the hobby, brother. Thank you, dude. I shall. I keep painting. Such a good little hobby. Good time sink as well. Tommy, do you have any Blade Guard veterans? I do. I actually have, as part of this commission, my client wants me to paint up some Blade Guard veterans, but I haven't got round to them. This is the Blade Guard veteran that I've got closest to me, which I painted up for a video that I made a while back on TikTok. Very happy with him. Blade Guard veteran Matoris from the secret level episode. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's really cool. But he's holding a power sword instead of a power axe, because I did not have an axe in my bits box. Boston, you're currently on your 5th Warhammer. Very nice. What army are you collecting, mate? 3 Ultramarines. Very nice. And Hans is starting, I should say, with the introductory set. Very nice. Couple of Marines. Does it come with paints and a paintbrush or 2, I think? Good little first step into the hobby. Enjoy, my friend. Yeah, there's lots of YouTube videos out there. Check them out. I make a couple of guides as well. I've got a few long form ones on my YouTube channel if you are interested. But they're probably a little bit more advanced because I do use my airbrush in them as well in one of the videos anyway. But I plan to make some more paintbrush only ones in the future for people that may not have it just yet. Hans, I want to try do Black Templars. Do I need new figures as well, or can I do them on the others? You can definitely do them on your others. This is just a plain intercessor that I painted up like a Black Templar. So you definitely don't need to have the specific Black Templar box set to paint them up. You might, if you want to, just need to get your hands on the decals because they make your life so much easier rather than having to paint the chapter symbols. Sir Muzzle, that is correct. Deathwing color from the Dark Angels, but not necessarily an actual Deathwing like Terminator dude. Dr. Z. Wait, this thing might sound dumb, but why isn't it already colored in for you? Assume you're talking about the model. Why aren't they already colored? I guess it's part of the fun, you know? You get to paint it up however you like and spend some time and improve a skill, you know? Because you can paint it up whatever color you want. So like these all start out gray plastic, and I've painted them all these different colors. So I got a blue one, I got a yellow one with like a plasma glow that I put on. I've got a white one that looks like he's been through hundreds of battles, taking too much damage from the enemy. Got a green one over here, a raptor. So you can just paint them up however you like, you know, it just looks, it's all part of the fun. And for those of you on YouTube, I am talking to my TikTok chat at the moment, so that's probably why if you can't see anything popping up, and vice versa, TikTok, I've got guys over on YouTube as well tuning in. Zly, if I buy my first Space Marines, can I color them as I want? You certainly can. Certainly can. Whatever color you want. You could do bright pink if you wanted to, or rainbow. It's literally up to you. So while this is drying on the banner, I think we might pick out maybe this little bit in red, which I forgot to do earlier. You do not have to make them law accurate. You can, they're your models, you can paint them up however you want. You spent money, you spent time, do whatever you like, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Abel, where can I get these? You can get these directly from Warhammer online. It's like a website called Warhammer. Or you can go to any kind of third-party retailer. Should be selling them for when they come like hobbies and games. In Australia, that's like something like Good Games or Gap Games. Or the Combat Company. Lots of different places you can buy them. Assad over on YouTube. Hi, how long does it take to paint one fully? It all depends on how good you want to paint it up. So I could spend 10 hours on a single model if I really wanted to try and refine and make it a much better paint job. But if I didn't really care for quality, you could finish one of these in about half an hour, really, or an hour. But I prefer to take my time to try and be as neat as possible because I find that more rewarding to do it that way. And Murder Ball, praise the God Emperor, looking good.
Praise the Emperor indeed, Murder Ball. May his light guide you.
The TikTok chat is going off. You guys are going crazy. I've missed so many messages. Apologies. What paints do I use for brushes? Oh, look, I do a lot of different paints, my friend. There's lots of different brands out there. You literally can't go wrong. Citadel, Vallejo, AK 3rd Gen, Scale 75. They're all good brands, and I have paints from all of them. Max magnetized my first mini yesterday. Very nice. I think this guy is magnetized as well. It is down the bottom. So the guy who I'm painting it up for had them all built, and yeah, sent it to me like that, nice and ready to go. Thanks, Jade. I'm glad you like the voice effect. What's this? Country Boy to the Bone. What chapter? This is Dark Angels. This is a Dark Angels Space Marine. And Max, you just got into Warhammer and would like to do Dark Angels. What would you recommend? I recommend you just get started, mate. Pick up a few paints. You obviously want green because that'll be your main color for Dark Angels, and you want a bone color. If you're looking for some good greens, I would say this one here, Angel Green from Vallejo, is really good. And so is Dark Green from Vallejo for your sort of starting base tones, and then you want a light green for some highlights. And for a bone color, this one here is pretty good. Vampire Fang from Two Thin Coats. And then if you can get similar colors like that from any range, I think you would have no problems, regardless. But thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Chinggis, Emperor protects my cousin, very nice. Vrixus, hello. Just Cliff, I don't know what you're talking about there, mate. So I'm not going to answer that. If you could only build one army, what faction would you choose? Oh man, you are making it too hard to choose. I couldn't choose one. I love Blood Angels because I love red, and I like their successor chapters as well. So I painted up this Flesh Terror dude, because I think they are sick. So potentially Blood Angels, but I am a fan of lots of different chapters, and also the heretical ones too. Alrighty, so what did I do there? So we've painted the red, so I think that's most of the other red bits. We need to get these wax seals, but I might wait a little bit until we get to that. What we might do now, while the other steps are drying, is we're going to paint the rope that's holding onto this little artifact on his butt. And we're going to use dark burgundy from Pro Acryl to paint this in. Just a little bit on my wet palette, thin it down a touch, and we can start cooking. Okay. And for this sort of standard, like we're going for premium tabletop standard, literally one layer of this is fine. We don't need to go in and highlight too much, or at all really, because when we get to a later step, the wash will actually act as the shadow, and then the base coat kind of then becomes its own highlight. We're not trying to go for display quality here, so don't need to go too crazy. Very nice. Matthew, for him on Terra. Exactly right. For the Emperor, my friend. Chloe, Lind, hi, I got a deal on the InnoCraft airbrush kit on Amazon yesterday, and they had $10 one-day shipping. I've got tons of black rattle can primed classic dungeon monsters. Any tips? Oh, I'm assuming you're asking tips to how to use your airbrush. If that's the case, I would suggest having a few practice runs with your airbrush before you just use it on a model that you care about, because you are inevitably going to make some mistakes if you've never used an airbrush before. So just get a feel for it. Have a big, long practice session with that before actually painting models for the first time. And just use it for basics. Use it to prime, and maybe use it for like a zenithal highlight, because it will take some time to get used to. Murder Ball, love the Flesh Terrors. My dad painted minis in the 90s. Love seeing everything 40k from the US. Have a great day, dog. Thank you very much. I enjoy that, and thank you for the comments. Really appreciate it. You have a good day as well, my friend. Okay, so what we might do, because we've laid that down, let's quickly pick out some of the gold areas that we have yet to do. And for that, we're going to use Necro Gold from Scale 75. Dominic Ojeda. Dude, great painting skills. Too kind, my friend. Thank you. Addy, is that green stuff or just green paint on the sculpt? It's just green paint at the moment. I think as well on TikTok, the screen is not picking up it properly, and it looks like purple in areas and blue. So it's definitely not like that in real life. It's some weird thing. It thinks it's like a green screen, and it's like going through the green color, which is really weird. Chloe, okay, thanks. I think it's Zenith will highlight. Yes. Nice. And can I turn my regular acrylic mini paint into contrast with thinner or water? You can. So you definitely want to be using a thinner if you're using an airbrush, because you will be using your acrylic paints. And even if you buy airbrush specific paints like Vallejo Air Colors, for example, you still need to thin those down sometimes as well. Sometimes they're still a little bit too thick straight out of the pot. So always use a thinner, and it just takes practice to know how much you need to use. It's not a direct science, it's just literally repetition. You'll work out what's a good consistency for you. But yeah, you can pretty much turn any paint into being suitable for the airbrush. Dragon, nice true metallic metal, and hello to you as well, my friend. Yes, I am a fan of the true metallic metal. And I don't have the skills to paint non-metallic metal just yet. I've tried once before, but too impatient for that. I want to see results quickly. And I think it looks cool if you do it well. Yeah, the hood definitely looks strange. I can see it here. It's kind of going between blue and purple colors. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Because over on YouTube, it's definitely not picking up the green screen. It looks normal. So weird. So maybe not the best model to be painting while streaming on TikTok, but well. Yeah, magic indeed. So that we might paint this little artifact here. I'm not sure what it is. It's like a little chest of some sort hanging down on his belt, down below his belt, I should say. Addy, what is that gold? Liber gold. It is Necro Gold from scale 75. A really good paint. I like it. It's kind of got that like a greeny hue to it. I think it works really well. And then when you want to highlight up, the highlight color that you want, and we'll use later on today, is Peridot Alchemy. So it still has that greeny undertone to it, but it's just that good highlight color for it. Chloe, I think my chat broke and didn't send. Thanks for the tips. I'll get out of bed and unbox my new toys. Glad I ran into the stream. I'm glad you did too. Have fun unboxing your new toys and getting stuck into it. Enjoy, my friend, and I'll hopefully catch you next time. Dragon. Ecule Gold is old gold from AK Interactive. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Ecule Gold is old gold from Interactive, AK Interactive. I've actually used some of the AK Interactive paints, and I feel like the metallic shine is not that great. I'm not sure why, but yeah. Just my experience so far. Rose over on YouTube. Hey, what we have here? We have a Dark Angels Sternguard veteran from the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Yes, and we're painting it up together. More shine, yes. And Chloe, what's your main streaming platform? I think I'll chill for a bit. My main streaming platform, I've just started kind of doing YouTube and TikTok at the same time. But I have most of my content and followers over on TikTok, but trying to grow a little bit more on YouTube and do some more longer form stuff. That's the plan. Addy, go good one coat or patchy? Typically it goes pretty good on one coat. The gold that we use from scale 75. Yeah, I think you can get away with pretty much one coat of this. So quite happy with it. Gork, Galk. I struggle to say your name, mate. Sorry. Yo, epic so far. Remember to use Nuln Oil. Oh, Nuln Oil is a classic favorite, but on this model, we are definitely using Streaking Grime as the shade of choice. But Nuln Oil definitely has its place, that's for sure. And Alistair over on YouTube. You should have done it as a Blood Angel. I wish if I had, I think I'd get in trouble because that's not what this guy has commissioned me to paint. Okay, so I believe you're a Blood Angels fan by the sounds of it. Rightio, so might just do the ends of these poles gold too. I think that might be nice to tie it in together. A gal over on TikTok is telling you, Alistair, not Blood Angels, you need to be painting Lamenters. A Norwegian name, that's probably why I can't say it. Mini Shaw, still think Retributor armor is a better gold than any scale 75 paint. Interesting. I am the opposite of that. I'm not a fan of the Games Workshop gold paints. I think they're too thick and gummy. I just haven't had good. Maybe they were just shit pots that I got, but yeah. Once I started the scale 75 stuff, I thought they were pretty good. But I also like the Vallejo metal color range. That's a really, really good paint, range of paint. Gosh, I'm running out of paint real quickly here. Gonna add in a little bit more onto my wet palette. Brayden, opinion on Necrons. Necrons are fantastic. They are the faction that got me into Warhammer in the first place. So they have a special place in my heart. They drew me in as I was walking along the mall. I thought they were the coolest looking thing I had ever seen as a little kid. And still do. Although I don't have any painted Necrons on me anymore. Who else we got here? Chloe, Streaking Grime is priceless. It is priceless. Streaking Grime is one of my go-to products when I'm trying to paint fast and get a good result. Definitely worth it. What do we go? A couple of comments over here on TikTok. How do I keep my brushes so sharp? Give them a little wash every now and again. You got brush soap, keeps the brushes in a nice healthy condition, but these are kind of expensive brushes, which is probably why they last longer and stay sharp. So these are Kolinsky Sable brushes from Raphael. Yeah, quite spenny, but worth the investment. And King, are you licking the paint off? I most definitely am. Not straight off the brush, but I give it a little wash and then I do a little brush lick because it helps keep the point nice and straight when I go in for another bit of painting. And it makes you paint better. The more paint you ingest, the better your model's going to look. Nevin, I see you. Nevin, I can't say your name, sorry. I wanted to start painting models. What do you recommend? Go with what is coolest to you, just like I said with the Necrons. That's what got me into it. So that's what I encourage you to do. Don't worry about what works better in game or whatever. Whatever sticks out to you as the coolest thing and that makes you want to paint them, that's the one you should be choosing. Sarah Jane Smith, very cool. I used to have a Blood Angels army. So many Blood Angels fans on here tonight. Blood Angels takeover. But me too. I have a affinity with the Blood Angels. I love them because they are red. But I don't have any handy to show you guys. I showed my Flesh Terror earlier, so I'll show it again because it's close enough to a Blood Angel. It's a Blood Angel successor. And I like the deep rich red that we got with this dude. But yeah. So we're just going to go in and paint the banner pole with some silver. And we're using plate armor from Two Thin Coats range. It's the same color we've been doing most of the silver on the other parts of the model. Marley Luxford, Warhammer, sent before I finished diving. Feels, that's like me when I'm on my Teams chat with my work colleagues. I hit enter and it sends when I'm trying to get a new line. Rip. What do we got here? I normally use Citadel brushes, but they seem to go dull quick. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Citadel brushes. I think they're good when you first start because you're not used to really painting and the equipment. But yeah, it's definitely worth an investment if you're looking to up your painting game with those good brushes. And Rara Ruspentine, a galaxy. You're a legend. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. That is sick. That is worth some gumdrop buttons, I think. Thank you for those gumdrop buttons. And I would say that's invincible. That is invincible worthy. Thank you very much, my friend. God, there's so many comments. I can't paint. I have to read 2 chats. I'm trying to paint. Fuck, what's going on here? There's a few on YouTube that I haven't read out yet. The secret goated silver is Vallejo gunmetal, the airbrush version. It actually brushes on beautifully. Mini Shaw, I would agree with you, like this metal color range. So I use burnt iron. I have the gunmetal that you're talking about. I use this. It works really well. You can spray it through the airbrush too. Yeah, such a good paint just to paint on. Rara Ruspentine. God, I'm mincing all these names tonight. Where else am I live? I'm also live on YouTube. So I'm doing TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Because I got a different following on both. So I both want you guys to sort of be able to tune in and chat, but I just don't know how to show the 2 chats on both screens. I wish I could do that. But I'm not that tech savvy, so if anyone knows how to do that, please let me know. That would be really cool. Thank you. Nice seeing a painting streamer. Have a wonderful day, bud. An affinity for karma. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. What do we got here? A couple more on TikTok. Jason, painting skills are wicked, man. Do you airbrush or use brushes? I use both, Jason. Definitely use both techniques in combination because I think they are very much complementary. It's just a tool to help you paint. So I will airbrush in areas where I think it's needed. So particularly the first steps is when I'll use an airbrush. And I'll also then pick up the paintbrush to do areas where I need to do some touch up or highlight or add on additional layers. That's sort of what we do in terms of my workflow anyway. Aiden, thinking about painting today, and this is confirmed that you're going to do that. Awesome. I'm glad I influenced that. Well done. Pick up that paintbrush, mate. What type of Dark Angel am I painting? This is a Sternguard Veteran, kit bashed with Dark Angel's components from the Inner Circle companion box. And I've had a couple of people ask what brushes do I recommend. I showed earlier, so if you didn't see, because you've only just tuned in, these ones here, Raphael Kolinsky Sables. These two brushes I paint all my models with. Like you can paint 99% of your models with just these two brushes alone. Sweet Meats, does Zenithal method work for black armored Chaos Marines? Not Zenithal in the traditional sense, so I wouldn't start off with like a Chaos Black Prime and then spray white over it. What I would do, and what I have done for another commission that I worked on, and even here, hang on, these Flesh Terrors. So these Flesh Terrors, the black was actually airbrushed, and it's very subtle because you can't see it on camera as well. But you'd start off with something like a black. I don't know why I'm holding this black, but just say prime it the color that you want. Then this color here is the one you want to use. Charcoal from Vallejo Game Color is awesome. So you can leave the dark areas in as pure black, and then you spray this from above and it still looks like black, but it's enough to make it look like it's a volumetric highlight, and then you come in with a lighter gray for the highlights later on. So it definitely can be done with the airbrush. Over here on YouTube, banner looks a bit empty. Maybe some kind of sigil would do it good. Yes, the banner's not done yet. Just laid down a one base coat, and we need to do another one because it was drying before. We also need to highlight it up a little bit, so I might do that now. You've just reminded me to keep going with that section. Rose, what's the name of the green on that banner? It is this one here, I believe. Dark green from Vallejo Game Color. And do I paint and play? I mainly paint. Not a massive fan of the gaming, just because I've never really gotten into it. I haven't had that many people to play with when I was first into the hobby. I do have friends that want to play these days, but I much prefer the painting side of the hobby. So if you've got gaming related questions, I unfortunately am not the person to be asking. I'm sorry. I wish I could be answering your questions, but I don't know. Do it for the love of painting. What else have we got here? TikTok. What legion is your favorite to paint? And I think there was another question over here. Thoughts on Salamander's chapter. I've never painted a Salamander's Space Marine ever, so that is on my to-do list. So I don't have any thoughts on that, unfortunately. But favorite legion to paint. I would have to say anything with red. I'm really digging, like I like Blood Angels before, but my Corn Berserkers, something about the brass trim on the red just is like tickling something in my brain, you know? Yeah, it's just really my jam. So I'd have to say something like that. Maybe Blood Angels, Corn Berserkers, World Eaters, I should say. Because even like the World Eaters, like here in their OG scheme, the blue and the white, he's missing his backpack, but don't worry about that. Also very fun to paint. Just very cool dynamic models. RB, why is the top of the hood changing the color? Yeah, I'm not sure. TikTok's thinking that this green paint that I'm using is a green screen, so that's why it's looking purple and blue. I'm definitely not doing that. It's TikTok being weird. Back over on YouTube, huge Dark Angel fan. Are there many in-store beginner sets with them? I actually don't know of any currently that are out there. I know a couple of editions ago there was, which would have been a few years ago, that they had the Dark Angels as like the featured faction for beginners, but no, not at the moment. I'm not too sure. Matthew, hello. And Rose, I need that dark green for Sons of Medusa, but I have all Citadel paints. Yeah, not sure what the new Citadel paint equivalents are, but like the way that I paint up my Dark Angels at the moment and the green are these three paints. So if you've got a chance and you're looking, you know, got the ability to pick up some paints, maybe these three might be worth checking out. So that's Dark Green, Angel Green, and Scorpy Green from Vallejo. You could probably do a lot with those because you can mix and match as well. You don't just need to use them as is, and that's kind of how I paint as well. I like to mix them to get gradual highlights. So like, let me see if I can get a better robe. So like you can see here, if it's not going to turn blue, but like the robe kind of looks gradually built up over time. So I use those three colors and it looks quite smooth, I think. For some quick paint job, I think the robe took us like 5 minutes to paint on stream the other day. It was super easy. Carl, do you like the new Space Wolf models? How much would you charge to paint? You paint beautifully. Oh, thank you. I very much love the look of the Space Wolves. I want to get my hands on some. Those models look really cool. But I'm going to have to wait because I've just got too much to paint. Backlog of just models, you know? How much would I charge to paint? I commission out, so I charge about $30-ish Australian per hour. That's sort of what I go for. Something like that. I don't do it full time or anything. I just do it for a bit of fun and a bit of, you know, extra hobby money, you know. Because I work full time in something completely unrelated to this world of Warhammer. So we can probably start doing a little bit of wet blending while this is still going on the banner. So they're going to whip out the Angel Green, which is the kind of mid-tone from what I just showed of those three paints. And let's start building up quite quickly on the banner. Nice and thin layers. Why do Citadel paints dry so fast and get clumpy? That is a good question, and your guess is as good as mine, Boston. I don't know, is it quality? Is it just how paints behave? Not too sure. Because I still find the same thing would happen with other paints as well. I think The really shit thing with Citadel paints is the fact that they're not in like a dropper bottle, because it just limits the paint. You know, you'll get dry areas and it just doesn't close properly over time, and then you just find yourself having to buy a new paint when you should still have paint in there, but it's all dried up because the lid doesn't bloody close, you know? So just kind of pick out the folds there. You might do the same on the back. It's a little bit of wet blending, kind of exactly how we painted the robes. Nice and rough to build up a little bit of texture. You don't want it too smooth, or at least I don't want to anyway. I'm not going for smooth. I want texture to make it look like fabric. Quick is what we want. RB, what other Space Marine chapters are you working on? None at the moment. I've painted up a lot though in the past. So if you're keen to see some other chapters that I've painted up, you can have a look at some of the other videos that I've done on TikTok. There's a few videos there for you. Back over on YouTube, missed a few here. Chloe bought a bunch of mini monsters. I'm enjoying painting too much to build a campaign. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You enjoy painting too much and you never get things done. I'm the same, which is very unfortunate. Alistair, you should start with Kill Tim. It's a lot easier to learn than 40k, and the Orc Commandos are very good. Yes, I think that's where I'm going to end up going in terms of starting to play a little bit, is maybe jump in with a kill team. So we were painting up some of the Phobos Marines from a kill team on stream the other day, and I'm just unplugging. Speaking of like clogging up this paint, oh look at that! I don't know what's happening there. It's definitely some sort of green screen happening. So I'm just unclogging it because it's dried, which is unfortunate. But yes, we were painting on stream the other day some of those Phobos Marines. So maybe if I get those done, I've got a little kill team that I can start playing with. Nevin, we'll check your store in town for the Dark Angel Green. Nice. Do you do that? Towner, Tabard and Helmet, is that green stuff or a 3D print? It is, I think it's a real piece from Games Workshop. I think it's from the Inner Circle Companions box set. And the reason I'm not entirely sure is this is a commission piece, so I didn't build it. I just got it sent, built to me to paint. And you're welcome for the recommendations. Anytime. Swarm, how do I make that gold? One paint only so far. Necro Gold. Check it out. And how long have I been awake? Well, it is 10:22 in the evening here in Australia. I've just been awake from this morning, so what? 8 o'clock this morning. Bit of a sleep in on a Sunday. And that colored value jump is way too much, so we need to darken it down a little bit. So we went Scorpy green, but it went way too bright. So let's add in some Angel green to tone it down. Deuce, Pulpe. Hey man, you popped in my feed. Minnie's looking very nice. Cheers. Thank you for the kind comment and dropping by. Why isn't the Space Marine in a cat maid outfit? I don't know, my friend. I am scared to know what yours look like. That's for sure. You going to bed? Okay. Good night, my love. Hang on, give us a sec, guys. I'm just gonna pause for 1 second. Alright, I'm back. And the tunes are still there. Yeah. Cool. That's my girlfriend. She's just going to bed. So, as I was saying, we needed to blend this in a little bit more because it was too bright. Too bright. Nice thin little highlights. Do you say model or mini when referring to them? A bit of both, interchangeable. I say whatever. And Francisco, sorry mate, hi from Spain, hello. Hola, ¿cómo estás? McCready Paints, thank you very much, appreciate the kind comment. And the War Paint Warlord, how are you mate? Welcome back, good to see ya. Your models are white with hot pink accents, fully sculpted skirts, cat ears, tails and more, pig bow ties. That's like burgeoning on heresy there, mate. You sure you're not worshipping one of the dark four gods, the big four, and not the emperor? Which one do I say more though? I'd probably say minis. I'd say minis more than models. Have I done Minotaurs? No, I haven't done Minotaurs. That's another one. There's so many successor chapters yet to be done. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. How many people watching on TikTok and YouTube? I think we got like 60 on YouTube at the moment. On TikTok, we've only got a few, probably about 8 or 9 at the moment. We had about 15 before. So yeah, but the chat was going off. You guys are having a great time before. It's hard to keep up. Blade Guard Ancient, Stern Guard Veteran, El Horsto. That's what this guy is. Try and get some of those folds. Like that. The problem is what we're doing now is pretty much glazing. And glazing is when you're essentially painting with colored water. So it means lots of layers. So lots of applying over the same areas again and again, which is time consuming, but it does look good once you do it a few times. Tabletopped, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we've got a heretic in the chat, that's right, gotta purge them. Hunt them down. Tell the Inquisition, guys. The lore is that this is about your cat marines. The lore is that they are loyalist space marines who are lost to the warp. They became warp-touched mutations like cat ears and tails with the feeling of needing to act like cats and mates. Jesus. That is some well thought out lore there. Very well thought out. Clean work, but Robbie G's the man, mate. He's just a walking square. Dude doesn't know how to catch a break, you know? Learn to live a little. Stop looking at Excel the whole time. Be more like the lion, you know? Touch grass, go through the forest. So that banner is coming along quite nicely. Happy with how it's looking. Highlights are not too stark and crazy, but subtle enough to know that they are there. Amanda, you love the iridescence. I'm glad you do, but that's actually not on the model. TikTok's doing a weird thing where it's thinking it's a green screen, so you're getting some sort of green screen picture. Because if I hold up this green paint, it's definitely not like an iridescent paint. I'm not sure what the hell is happening here. Like, look at this, some random background. Look at that. There's some video game controllers. I'm not sure what's going on there. Yes, very strange. So probably not the wisest thing for me to be painting this green banner. But the YouTube folk are getting the proper footage without some weird background. I donate screaming sound effects so your paintbrush would slip. Also, are you on YouTube Shorts too? I think, I'm not sure if this is just streaming and coming up on YouTube Shorts. That's the plan, hopefully. I've added a few, uploaded a few, I should say, videos to YouTube Shorts. I've got some longer form stuff on YouTube, and I've also got some stuff on TikTok too, and Instagram. I'm trying to be in all places at once. Just like the Emperor himself, ever watching. You guys aren't safe. I will be watching you. Thank you, yeah, that's cool. Thank you for confirming that, Nevin. I was trying to figure out how that worked, but glad to know that it is. So while this banner is drying, because I don't want to go too much crazy with the highlighting, let's just pick out this grey bit and highlight that, because then we can move on to another step. And to highlight, I'm going to use some dark sea grey with a little bit of white mixed in. Any white will do. So don't limit yourself. Doesn't matter what brand. White is white, especially when you're just using it to mix into colors. So just brightened that up a fraction. And now we can go in and highlight these little, I don't even know what you call them, veteran symbols? Yeah, there we go. And Doc, yeah, you're watching the stream on YouTube Shorts. Awesome. I'm glad that it's working. And I'm glad that you guys have been sticking around for so long. How fucking cool. Banner will look great dried. Thank you, Nevin. I think, I'm hoping so. That is the plan. And Kells, bro, you're hectic. Thanks, Kells. You are too, mate. I think That's really all we kind of need. We don't want too much. It doesn't need to be overly highlighted, I think. Just enough to pick out the features. It was just looking a little bit flat, a little bit sad. Cheesy Boy on TikTok. Have you tried Gundam figures? No, and you are not the first person to ask that. I've had a lot of people drop into this stream and other ones of mine and ask about Gundam. No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of people who paint Warhammer also do Gundam, and vice versa. People that do Gundam coming over and starting Warhammer. So I feel like there's a bit of crossover happening there. Maybe one day. But I have so much backlog of Warhammer to paint. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Kren, insignia. I think that's what you're helping me with the word I was struggling to find. Insignia for the veteran stuff. There you go, veteran stuff. These little details. Veteran insignia. Fisho, YouTube Shorts just recommended this. I usually skip right past live streams, but this is awesome. Thank you. That's sick. Look, to be honest, I skip through most streams when I see them. But yeah, when I see a Warhammer one, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to check that out, see what's happening. Fellow hobbyist. Rand, what type of brush do you like, or what brand of brush do you like, and how do you keep the tip so sharp? So you would have seen good old lick keeps your brush sharp, but no, this brush here is a Raphael Kalinsky Sable paintbrush, and it is quite high quality, but worth the investment. So if you can get your hands on one, I would recommend that you do. The Big Mex brush. We've got an Orc boy in the midst over on TikTok. Fighting Dark Angels tomorrow. I'm Orcs. How do I beat y'all? Oh, mate, you're never gonna beat us. You're a filthy Xenos. Stay in your lane. Nah, I don't know. Big Mech. Not sure. I don't really play the game. I just paint, really. Maybe someone else can give you some tips. Because unfortunately, I'm not the correct person to be divvying out advice on playing the game. Praise the Omnisire. Indeed, hang on. I've got the voice here. Let me see if I can do it. Where are we?
Yes. Praise the Omnisire. The machine spirits.
The gold looks good. Thank you, Joshua. It is Necro Gold from Scale 75. That is the paint you are after for the gold. And Cat. He's so fancy. I have a Nighthaunt army that are covered in cherry blossoms. Oh, Cat, I think you'd get on very well with, we've got Paint Games over on YouTube who has an army of cat space marines, and they've got a whole bunch of lore behind them, so I feel like you two would get on very well. What do we got over here on YouTube? Sorry, we've got a lot of comments here that I've missed. A lot of ramble about said cat army. Ivan is saying, ever seen a purple orc? I don't think you have, because they are too sneaky. No one's seen one. I'll be checking them out now. They sound awesome. Indeed. Very much so. Ultima, what paint are you using for your base coat? am doing a Death Guard Heresy, and it looks perfect. Well, thank you. The way that I use, and I used my airbrush when I paint, so I used grey-brown for the base coat, and then I went in with this color here, Vampire Fang from Two Thin Coats. So I used it as the full base coat all over with the brown, and then I shot this from above, like a zenithal angle, to get the build up here. And we have a finished model over here, which I'll show you. And this is kind of what it looks like after you add in some streak and grime, and you do your highlights and stuff. This is what you will look like, or end up having, rather. That real kind of bone white of the Deathwing, or Death Guard, if you so choose. What do we got? Inquisitor, this live stream right here. Yeah, shit's getting out of hand, mate. Too many fucking mutants, heretics, and witches in the chat. Awesome. I just subbed. Thank you, guys. Is this an Inner Circle Dark Angel? It's a Stern Guard veteran, but it has Inner Circle companion bits to it, I believe. It's part of a commission, so I can't actually confirm that, but that's my speculation, because I didn't build this guy. He was just sent to me as is. Yay, Dark Angels. Yeah, indeed, Crimson. And thank you for the kind words, guys. Doc, any recommendations on a good beginner mini to paint, or maybe a chapter you think is easier to paint than others? I don't think a chapter, like if you're painting a Space Marine, much of a muchness on the chapter. People do say if you're painting by a brush, maybe avoid like a yellow. Yellow is hard to paint if you're just painting like physically with a brush. With an airbrush, it's no problem at all. So maybe don't do something like Imperial Fists. But that being said, you could get away with like the contrast paints. If you really want like a super easy model to paint, I'd say like a Necron. The Necron Warriors are super easy to paint because you can have a really good model by just base coating it with black, doing a couple of dry brushes, bit of rusting effect, and it looks really cool. But honestly, whatever you think looks coolest in terms of a model, that's what you should go with, because the skills will just come over time. You can always improve them. Casual Chaos. Yeah, Space Marines are easier than Chaos Marines. So much trim. That is a fact. Chaos are a lot harder to paint than just your regular Space Marines because of that. The trim is just... it looks cool, but it can be very tedious. Like when you look at this, I'll show you guys quickly. So here's a basic Assault Intercessor Ultramarine, right? I'd say what, 80% of the model is blue. You've got a little bit of gold and a little bit of black and silver here and there. Compare that to this Khorne Berserker, where it feels like it's maybe 65% red, maybe 70%, and the rest is just bronze trim. And it's not simple bits, like it's all kind of in every nook and cranny, so you just need to like pick it out. Like it's hard to paint as a beginner. Same here with like Emperor's Children, like way more trim, too much fucking trim if you ask me. So yeah, if you're just starting out, simple is better. Otherwise it can get a bit complicated. Do I have a Nurgle boy? I do. I was experimenting with how to paint with contrast paints, and then also what do you call it? Dirty down effect. So dirty down rust effect and the dirty down verdigris effect. So this is the result of that. And this was a fairly quick paint job. Probably did this in maybe an hour and a half. Like, it wasn't that long. It was pretty quick. But thank you. Thank you, Marco. I appreciate it. Paint games. My favorite model I've painted so far was my Nightbringer. I did a freehand of the pillars of creation inside his cloak. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I painted up a Nightbringer as well at one point. Painted it up like the box art and was very happy with how he turned out, actually. Just gonna keep trying to paint. I get too distracted by the chat. Too many messages. So if I try and paint and chat, that'd be better. What model am I most proud of? I had that question on my last stream, and I really struggled to name one. I pulled out some of my older models, which I can show you if you guys want to. I'll show you some of my, when I first sort of got back into the hobby a couple of years ago. But I would have to say I'm pretty proud of, I painted a Chaos Titan and as a commission. So unfortunately no longer with us, back with its rightful owner. Very happy with that because I painted it up like box art. I painted up the can't even talk. What is it? Sanguinor from Blood Angels, and was super happy with the result. I've got that on my website. I put him up there in my little gallery. He's also on my Instagram page. Yeah, they were some really cool models. Again, that was also a commission paint job, so I can't show you, unfortunately. But yeah, it's literally like choosing a favorite model is like choosing a favorite child, indeed. Garlic Billy Bob. Hey dude, just got into 40k. What can you tell me about the Iron Hands or Iron Warriors? I can tell you that you are deciding, just like in Pokemon, do you want a fire starter? Do you want a water starter? Grass type? What do you want? Because they're very different. One's a loyalist chapter fighting for the good of the Imperium, and the other is a disgusting, filthy heretic. So if that sounds like you, you should be going Iron Warriors. Amanda is asking, serious question, guys. What do people do with the extra stuff on the sprues in the kits? That is a good question. What do you do with the leftover bits? I know some people make terrain out of it. I've never found a really good use for it, so I'm not too sure. Maybe someone else can jump in and help answer that. Mike, do you know specs on those? Not sure what you're talking about there, mate. Sorry. Back over on YouTube, there's a few different comments here. Jack Crozer, how is contrast painting different than normal base painting? Well, contrast painting, you've got to think of it like putting colored filters over previous layers, so they'll show through, whereas normal painting is opaque, so once you paint over it, you won't see what's underneath. So contrast paints use a benefit really from like what you call was pre-shading and pre-highlighting. So that's why people will talk about a zenithal highlight. So I'll show you just as a quick example, if I can find one. I don't know if you can sort of see here, but if you look at this, this is a lot brighter when you look at it from above, and when you look at it from below, you can see it's quite dark and grey. So if I were to put a contrast paint over that, those natural shadows and highlights would still come through. And that's where contrast paints really work well. For normal paints, they're opaque, as I said, so they work really well if you're trying to build up your own sort of highlights and shadows, and you don't want them to be in certain areas because it, you don't want it to go into the nooks and crannies. You want to be in control of where the shadows and highlights go, that's where normal acrylic paints come in handy. Dead Skull and AK Paints, thank you very much for the rose and the heart. I appreciate it. Those are some gumdrop buttons if I've ever seen them. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Amanda, someone over on YouTube, Chloe, is saying melt it down, not with heat, to make paste to fill holes. Ah, yes. Like plastic cement type thing, like gap filler. I have heard people doing that, but never done it myself. And Casual Chaos is saying use those extra bits of sprue for the bits box. A lot of conversion work, trading extra bits with other bits, so you don't have from other armies. Yes, so talking about the actual leftover bits that you may not have used. Two good uses. Nevin, thank you, dude. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Back over here on TikTok, sorry. Francisco, your favorite mini is Mephiston or Taito in Blood Angels. Mephi in Blood Angels WhatsApp channel in Spain. Mini's gorgeous. Thank you very much. Enzo, Jackie, hello over on YouTube. How are you? So, kind of happy with how that's looking. Kind of going for an artistic look on the banner. So, what we might do is, you guys are in luck because we're going to put on a transfer, which I have yet to do on stream ever. So, let's get that underway. What I'm going to do is we might move my drink bottle for starters. We need to put on a layer of Decal Fix. I'm just going to grab it. You guys, it's literally right behind you, behind the camera, so I'm getting real close to you. All right. It looks perfect for a freehand. Oh, it is. It's good for a freehand. I'm not that confident in my freehand skills, particularly if I've got an audience. So I think we'll stick to a transfer today. But you're definitely right. It is ripe for a freehand, this banner. Sanguinius, may the Emperor's light guide you. You too, brother, you too. It is Dark Angels. Looks awesome. Thank you. Alright, so we've used a little bit of this Decal Fix. So this Decal Fix, we're actually going to put it on before we put the transfer, because it's kind of like a gloss varnish in the sense that it will help make the surface really smooth. And that's what we want. We want it to be nice and smooth for when we put the decal on. Because if you've got lumps and bumps in there, it won't sit flat. And if that's the case, then you get what's called silvering. That's when you see those bits of plastic, so it kind of looks shiny in parts. And if that happens, it's really hard to get rid of after you've sort of set the decal in. So we're trying to avoid that by putting this Decal Fix down as a kind of base layer for where we want it to go. Freehand as alternative to what? Asks Hamburger. As an alternative to this, so we're doing what's called a decal / transfer. So these are like water slide decals, almost like if you're a kid and do you remember putting like fake tattoos on your skin? It's kind of like the same thing that we're doing on these models. We're giving them fake tattoos, but putting them on different parts of their armor and cloth and banners. what would a non-freehand transfer? Yeah, so that's what that is. So the freehand obviously is not using the transfer, and that's just painting yourself. So just painting like a pattern or whatever. Yeah, exactly right. Just painting. Like sketching with a paintbrush. Calcrunk. I haven't seen doing a decal live. Nice. Well, I haven't done one before live, so we'll see how this goes. Could be a disaster, could work well. We'll see. McCready paints. Do you use 2 separate cameras for the face cam and downwards cam? Downwards cam? Well, how far down are you wanting to look, mate? If you go too far down, I'm going to have to start charging. Yes, I'm using 2 different cameras. I'm using my my phone and a webcam, which is you guys right up here. It's drying at the moment, so we can't put anything on there just yet. So we'll just awkwardly hang out here in silence, I think. No, I think what we might do is put on a bit of paint on the little purity seal. And for that, let's use Skeleton Horde. That's what we've been doing on the other ones. Sorry, I've missed a few comments. I'm looking back here. So we've got Liam Hurst. Do you have a preferred metallic range? Liam, my friend, I don't have a standout preference. I love the paints from, metallic paints from Scale 75 and the Vallejo model color, metal color range. They are some really good paints. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't before. World Box Noob, what do you think of the Fallen Ones in the Loyalist Dark Angel Legion? I think it's a really cool addition. Like when you look at the lore and the guys that just thought what they were doing was right and just got confused and, you know, were outcast and now brought back into the fold and are loyalist once again. I think it's pretty cool. Francisco, I gotta leave. Have a nice day painting. See ya. See ya, mate. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. What do we have here? Stick to only hands, not the other. Yeah, stick to only hands. I like that. Yeah, only hands, nothing else. That's funny. That's a good one. Calcrunk. I had an old Deathwing army really tempted to make a new Gravis first company. Interesting. Very nice. Roberto, you like Black Templars? I do, Roberto. I do like Black Templars. I have one right here that I painted up a while back. And it was really fun to paint. Send those hand pics. Ooh, here you go. Look at this. This is a free teaser. You know, do some hand modeling while we wait for this banner to dry. Is Dark Angels your favorite legion? Not my favorite. One of my favorite. No, I honestly can't tell you. All my different legions. They're all too good. Domino, how do you get so good at painting and shading? Just practice, my friend. It takes a long time, but you'll get there. Tutorials as well, and trying out different methods. So get out of your comfort zone. So, you know, try sponge painting or sponge chipping. Try dry brushing. Try using, you know, different techniques that you may or not use otherwise. Luna is in Spanish. I'm going to try to read it out. ¿Te gusta la transmisión en vivo? Podemos comunicarnos. I'm going to say that means, do you have a translation? to help with communication. I don't know, because I can't see a way to translate that without. How do I do that? Do you like live broadcasting? There we go. You can communicate. Yeah, I do like live broadcasting. It's good fun. I'm enjoying it. I wish I could speak Spanish. That would be amazing, being able to speak a second language. Okay, I think we are good to go. It's shiny now, but it's not wet, so we can put on this decal. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So I'm going to move my wet palette to the side. If you hold the comment, you can translate. Yeah, I'm trying to work out on my computer because I've got two different screens up there. There we go. Translate button. That helps. Thank you for the tip. She's laughing. I'd be laughing too. All right, so one for me and a little bit of water for this because we don't need much. So my little water container for the decal. Straight IPA, yeah. Delicious. All right, stick the decal in. Yeah, one for the boys. Take a swig. Push it down so it gets nice and wet. And let that soak for a little bit. Won't be too long. It should be good. Dean, loving the Dark Angel, mate. Collect them myself. Oh, you're a legend, mate. Good choice. Dark Angels are a very cool faction to be collecting. Fujiro, hey, I'm getting into Warhammer Fantasy minis. I finished building some miniatures. What are some of the tips or even tools I can get to help me paint them? Undead army, by the way. Ooh, if you're after undead, have I got some skeleton boys while this is soaking to show you. So if you've got any skeletons like this and want to give it a shot, these were super easy to paint, and I think they turned out pretty good. This guy's base still needs doing. And the rust effect was super simple. This is a Death Rattle skeleton from the Soulblight Gravelords army. And yeah, super simple. I made a YouTube video on how to paint this, like long form. It's like a 5-minute video. So long form for all us Zoomers who can only watch 30-second content. Yeah, and I show you every step how to paint this guy. So if you're interested and want to know exactly how I painted this up, check that out. It's on my YouTube channel. But yeah, essentially it's dirty down rust effects, a couple of blue paints, a bit of bone color, and a wash of streaking grime. And you have one skelly boy done and dusted. Dean is currently painting the lion. Very nice. Good model to paint. And have I painted any Terminators, says Voltex. I have, but I don't have any here to show you, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. Let's get this out and try and put this transfer on. Samick, happy to have found this. I have to go now. Did sub though. Oh, thank you. And thank you for sticking with me for so long. And the sub. You're a legend. I hope to see you next time. So, what we need to do here is get underneath this decal. I might just slide it off onto my paintbrush so then you guys can see what we're actually doing. If it wants to come up and over. Come on. There we go. Alright, let's put him into position. Hobby Luna has asked you to follow. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. AK, I can't do anything at the moment because I've got both my screens active. But maybe when I've finished my stream, I will check you out, Luna. No worries. So really just wet your paintbrush, use a bit of water, and push it around. We've kind of got it in the spot that we want to begin with. Like, maybe shift it over a little bit more. Don't need to do too much. I think that's pretty well centered, don't you? Yeah, happy with that. Thanks, Hamburger. Appreciate that. Find the folds nice. Yeah, it does. It kind of just slots right in. And the way that we want to then have it set like this, so because it's only water, this will dry in a few seconds. Like it's not that workable, which is a good thing for what we want. So the next step is to use this Decal softener. So Decal softener will then essentially melt down the decal, and then you can, like if you had a really bumpy surface, it would actually like wrap around it. So for example, like these decals on the shoulder pad, they don't sit flat. You can see how like they sit flat now. That's because we used decal softener back then and it melts it onto the side. Because if you don't use it, they kind of stick up. It's hard to explain, but if you ever play with decals, you'll know what I'm talking about. So definitely worth using some decal softener, which is what we're going to do now. Mudang, love the green. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Liam, back over on YouTube, I think the biggest barrier for this hobby is thinking we won't be able to paint the models well. I think anyone can do it, though I have more than one colorblind person who paints great. Yes, I agree. Anyone can do it, and we all start somewhere. Like, my first models were really bad to comparison to what I painted today, but you know, that's okay. I was proud of them at the time and still proud of them because it shows you where you come from. So I've got a little bit of this decal softener on my brush now. So we literally just paint over it with the decal softener. Kind of want to go a little bit around as well. Just areas, because it kind of helps to blend it all in. And that will pretty much do it for the decal. Nice and shiny. So it's that product there, Hamburger. What does it do? It melts. It melts this plastic decal and kind of forms it and sticks it, helps it stick to the surface that you're applying it to. What do we got back over here? AK, what's the biggest thing you've painted? The biggest model I've painted is a Warlord Titan. No, Warlord Titan, what's it called? No, Knight Rampager from Chaos. Like a Chaos Rampager Knight. That was a big boy. It took me a long time to paint. But it was good fun. Mike, see you, mate. Thanks for staying around for so long. You're a bloody legend. Dean, Sorry, Mudang. I want to see some Tau. Do you have any? I don't, unfortunately. I don't have any Tau. I've painted one up, but I don't know where he is. So I'll have to find him at some point and show him when I can, if I can find him. Dean, can I ask what color you have used for the armor? Yes, you certainly can. The answer to that will be a few paints, and I use the airbrush to get the blends. So grey-brown is the base color, and then you use Vampire Fang as a zenithal to shoot down. And then I even mixed in a little bit of this for the ultra bright highlights, is Pale Sand from Vallejo model color. So those three paints is what I use to paint the armor. Crim Cram Crom, saw their stream of doom scrolling, thought that was a Cabal from D2. I'm not sure what D2 is, but yeah, this is a Dark Angels Sternguard veteran in the Deathwing colors. Hamburger, how tall was it? Ooh, it's probably, the model was probably like that big, all up, I'd say. Yeah, it's a pretty big model. For me, when I'm used to painting just like infantry-sized units, it was a big boy. Imperial Fists. Requesting Imperial Fists. I have one here on my desk, holding this big ass. Are they called Hell Blasters or Plasma Cannons? I don't know. I'm gonna say Hell Blaster. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, this is my Imperial Fist dude that I painted up. God Emperor Cavill, yes. So that's drying. We can't really do much to while this is drying, because you don't want to be playing with that, because as I said, it's melting the plastic. So if you're moving your paintbrush over that, you're going to start building up unwanted texture, and you can even peel up some of your paint because it's quite a strong, whatever you call it, product, chemical. That's the word, chemical. And Skittles. Hey dude, I'm new to painting. Do you have an orc I can see as inspiration? I have one. Oh, actually, I've got two different orcs. You are in luck. This is an orc from the Commando box set that I painted up. My TikTok friends will be seeing a purple and blue orc because the green is coming up as like a green screen for some weird reason. But you over here on YouTube shouldn't have any issues, mate. You should be seeing it in all his glory, just as is. So that's what my boy looks like there. And then I painted up a bit more of like a cartoony, classic green orc. So it's quite a different color green. But I think they both look really cool nonetheless. And this one looks like it looks so purple on TikTok. I don't know why the hell it's like that, but he's turned into a purple orc. Like if I move it here, you guys can see like a PlayStation controller in a second. I don't know why the fuck it does this, but there you go. There's a PlayStation controller inside the orc. You're welcome. YouTube is superior. Oh, those are some fighting words, mate. You guys are gonna have to battle it out, YouTube versus TikTok. Yeah, what orc? You can't see anything. Exactly right. Never ever seen a purple orc, except this one time on TikTok. Okay, let's keep painting this little bit of red. So we're going to do corn red. Get the wax seal on his leg and on his tabard. Destiny 2, Crim Cram Crom. I'm being serious. Look up Destiny 2 Cabal and tell me they don't look alike. Let me have a look at this. Destiny to Cabal. Hopefully you don't make my computer tank. I have a toaster and now he's like cooking. Yeah, I do see a similarity there. I don't see a banner, but I can see like the armor looks quite similar. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to pop on some of this red now while we do that. Zachary, good morning. Can I bounce a chapter concept off you? Yeah, of course you can, Zachary. Fire away, what are you thinking? I'm sure the chat will be able to help you out too. Yeah, no bouncing, you can pitch. Shoot, what are you thinking? We've had some crazy stuff in here earlier today anyway. Some maid cat outfits and some cherry blossom. Are they Tyranids? Maybe. No. It was a different faction, but it was cherry blossom something. AK, catch you later, my friend. And yeah, AK is going to be live later at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure what time that is for us down here in Australia because it's already 11:15 p.m. But yeah, enjoy. Happy hobbying. Liam, how long are you going to be painting for? Probably not too much longer, mate. I've been live for almost 2 hours now. I'll probably go for another 15 minutes, make it 11:30 here. Unfortunately, I won't be able to hang out with you for too much longer. But don't let that stop you from whipping out your little goblins and doing some painting yourself. Ryan says Tyranids are just nerfed Australian wildlife. Very true. And Liam, Vestling, hello. How are you, mate? Another Liam. Liam's everywhere, taking over. Privileged streamers. 2.5 hours of work is all they can take. Oh mate, this isn't work, this is my hobby. I work full time as well. I'm trying to just get a little painting, sharing it with you guys, you know. I'm a tired boy these days. Need more coffee. Alright, so where were we? Red, yes, this purity seal. So let's just paint it up using a little bit of this vampire fang. Vampire fang from Two Thin Coats is what we'll be using. To highlight this model. Tippy tappy painting pattern, just like that. I don't want to cover all of it because it is a very similar color to the armor. So if you paint it like too similar, it's just going to look weird because it's just going to look like part of the armor is just floating randomly. So we kind of want to differentiate the two things when you're looking at it. Because this was covered with other colors, we might have to go in and put that snakebite leather contrast paint over it. Smay, holy shit, is it Dr. Doom? You could say that. You're the first one to call that out. But yeah, he kind of looks a little bit like Dr. Doom, doesn't he? Looking good. Thank you, Tabletopped. Appreciate it. Chari, game coming out soon. Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, the definitive edition. Dawn of War was my jam back in the day. I used to love playing that game. Alright, let's whip out that snakebite leather. Was it snakebite leather? No. Talking shit, Aaron. Skeleton Horde. Skeleton Horde is the color that we are going to do. Smay, he looks cool, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Underdog painting. Have you ever thought about doing voice acting? I haven't. No. I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't reckon I'd be any good at it. But you're not actually, surprisingly, the first person to say that before, which is weird. Maybe it's a hidden talent. Maybe that's my next career move, is to become a voice actor. That looks sick. The Corgi, thank you. And Dark King Zorro, thank you as well. Sorry guys, there's a few chats I've missed. Appreciate it. Good voice for voiceover, maybe. Oh, thanks, Skullcrunk. Appreciate it. Well, that's why I got these little voice modulators too, you know? Hang on, what do we got here? How does this sound?
For the Emperor. With me, brother. With me.
There we go, how good. Soul of Shania. Oh my god, yes, Warhammer Live. I've never seen this. Well, you are in the right place, my friend, and thank you for the heart. I didn't see that. That is gumdrop button worthy. Thank you very much. I've been painting Warhammer all day, and I haven't found anyone. Well, yes, you have found someone now. Thank you for joining us. Do appreciate it. Chloe, gonna go watch a movie. Take care, Polar Bear. Take care, my friend. You've stuck around for so long. I do appreciate you, and thank you. Take care and enjoy the movie. I'll see you next time. Is this a Dark Angel? Yes, it is. It is a Dark Angel. We are painting him up to join his other squad of Sternguard veteran dudes, which are these bad boys over here. So this is where we're trying to get to, and this is what it will look like after we do our washes and other bits and bobs. But that is what we are aiming for in terms of a result. Oh, Soul of Shania, you're too kind. That's some more gumdrop buttons falling from the sky here. Little dino. Little kitty cat. Thank you. Oh, thank you. They're coming along really well. I'm very happy with how they're looking. And I think before we do get close to, unfortunately, wrapping up the stream, we've been going for almost 2 hours now, so I might have to call it a night soon. But before we do that, I think there's a few new people in the stream. The Solar Schneider doesn't want us to finish. That's all right. Before we do, we've got a little bit of time. That's all right. Not just yet. Let's just go through. I'm going to do a little showcase, a show and tell, if you will. So let's start with one of my most contentious models. Is this white colored Black Templar. So a lot of people said that the White Templars are their own faction, which I know they are their own faction, but I just wanted to call it like a white Black Templar. Like, why the fuck not? And that was hilarious, and a lot of people argued about it. But yeah, this is my little white Black Templar. I painted these guys up on stream the other day. So a little bit of like white armor with the corroded, weathered effect. And then this dude who is now being known as Cheeto Man. Here in Australia we got Twisties. And I had no idea, I just thought I was painting cool orange smoke, but then they apparently look like he's holding a Cheeto. So that's what he's known for now. These guys don't have a chapter name, by the way, so if you guys have any suggestions, pop them in the chat, please. Do I have a Twitch? I don't have a Twitch, unfortunately. I've only just really been streaming on YouTube and TikTok. But I do long form videos on YouTube and some short form videos on TikTok and YouTube Shorts as well. This here is my Raptors Space Marine. These are sort of the first dudes that I painted with an airbrush, and quite happy with how the result turned out. So that is that dude. I see there's a few more comments and stuff on TikTok and YouTube. I will get to them, but we'll continue this little showcase first. This is my Ultramarine, and I did a guide on how to paint this guy on YouTube in sort of a longer form video. So if you're interested in that, and you have an airbrush, because this guy was painted using an airbrush, check that out. So happy with how he turned out. My Flesh Terrors are these bad boys here. Bit of red, bit of black, quite fun doing a bit of like a combo color. And I imagine this dude was like burgeoning on falling to the Black Rage, and that's why his eyes are like blood red, because he's so angry. He's like blood vessels are popping in his eyes. That's this dude. And then here's a helmeted version of the Flesh Terror with a jump pack. He's gonna get your ass. That's the pose he's pulling. He's gonna be on your ass in a minute. My little Black Templar, I showed him not too long ago because we were talking about the decals, but this is my Black Templar that I painted up. Now let's get a little bit heretical. So this is a Nurgle Marine that I painted, Smelly Boy, and I used a lot of different products from Dirty Down. So I used Dirty Down Rust effect, and I used the Dirty Down Verdigris effect on this. And quite happy with the result because it was a really easy paint job, and contrast paints for the green, or speed paints from Army Painter, I think it was. The next up on the list that I've got is my Khorne Berserker. So this Khorne Berserker I am in love with. I'm just really happy with how the red turned out. I love the brass trim, and the blood splatter effect, like he's just lopped someone's head off and he's on to the next. So for these two, so this guy and where's my Imperial Fist guy? I have a different one. Hang on. Did I? Might have popped away. Yes, here he is. Oh, here we go. So my Khorne Berserker and this dude here, this Imperial Fist dude, I made PDF tutorials on because that's how I learned how to paint, is from PDF tutorials. So I decided to make a couple of my own. And yeah, I really enjoyed making those and got some really good results. So that's those guys. I do plan on making one because when I asked my followers on Instagram, they liked my Emperor's Children, which are these bad boys here, and they liked the purple and the gold. So I'm thinking of making a PDF guide for these guys as well. But very happy with how these turned out, and want to finish the Combat Patrol because I picked that up not too long ago. This here is another World Eater, but he's missing his backpack, but he's painted up in the original paint scheme, like the blue and white from pre-heresy, and very happy with how this face turned out. I'll do a quick zoom in. This is probably one of the better faces that I've ever painted. So if I can zoom in and quickly show you. Like, I think it turned out quite well. Like his little eyes staring you down. Look at this. How close can we go? That's 400% zoom. Look how angry this motherfucker is. And the little teeth. I was very happy with that. So yeah, it was good fun. So I did that, dude. Yeah, great. The World Eaters have really good dental, hey? Dude's got whitening strips on his teeth. And then here, my little skelly dude. I painted up. I did this. I'm probably not that happy with him, but a White Scars dude. Probably a little bit more grey than I'd hoped, but I think it can still pass as a White Scar, but yeah, probably a bit too grey for my liking. But it was fun to paint up anyway. And then this here, when I first sort of, again, got my airbrush back in the day, I painted up this guy in combination and was practicing like my blends and techniques. So that's what we were doing here. I've just seen one comment, and I know there's more that I need to go through, but what the hell is going on here? We are doing a show and tell at the moment. A show and tell, the base. This is Warhammer indeed. It is a show and tell at the moment, because I'm going to be wrapping up the stream soon, but I wanted to show particularly Soul of Shania, because they just joined, and just wanted to show what we've been working on and a little bit of my collection. And thank you, Soul of Shania. I've seen that you have sent a few gifts. Thank you very much. That is some gumdrop buttons for sure. Now before we wrap up, I will show you one last little model. Actually, maybe a couple more. Here we go. I'm in the zone now. So this is my little meme marine that I painted up on TikTok for a TikTok short. This is my raptor, who's like very tactical. He's got a tactical mohawk with pouches. You know, you can never have enough pouches. So it's this dude. And then my little wholesome moment here is, this is probably the oldest marine in my collection. I painted this when I was like 13 years old, maybe 12, 13, I can't remember. But it's a good reminder to show you where you come from. Nice thick paint job, probably like one coat of white, extra thick, little squatty boy. I painted it up for a friend actually, back in the day, and you can see I put A on his knee pad for Aaron, which is my name, so we'll be forever immortalized on this this little dude. So that is my showcase. There's definitely more models that I have not shown, but we could be here all day doing that. And I unfortunately don't have all day. It is now past 11:30 here and past this boy's bedtime. But I do have a few questions I did see up in here, so I'll try and answer them as best I can. Let's just put some models in frame while I talk, otherwise you're looking at a blank screen, which is boring. So here we are, just a couple there. Someone asked what the blood was. The blood that I use is blood from the blood god from Citadel. Definitely use that. So that is what I would suggest if you are looking to do your own blood effects. There's a few more. God, there's heaps of comments. Twisties. Here we go. White is tricky. How do you paint white? White is very tricky. So the tip to painting white is to not start with white. You need to start with grey and build up. So just to quickly show you, this is where we ended up, right? With this, I would call this a white. It's a dirty white, but it's still a white. It's dirty because we did effects. This is kind of what it looks like to begin with. Fairly close to white, and I've got a few effects on there already, which is why it's not looking as white as it could be. But if you look underneath, it's pretty grey, like it's pretty dark down there, right? So the way that you begin is you base coat on like a grey. You could use, if you wanted to, like Mechanicus standard grey, for example. And then I use my airbrush and I shoot down. My airbrush is sitting here. So like I'll shoot down from an angle like this, sound effects included, and that's how you build up the white. And it's still not using white, like I'm using like a grey color, but just adding little bits of white to it. So you never want to go pure white, because you want to save like the pure white for like your highlights, if you ever get down to doing some edge highlights or whatnot. So it's probably my quick tip for that you can kind of go into a whole bunch of detail, but we don't have time for that, unfortunately. Thank you everyone for the chilling out and nice comments. I do appreciate it. What's this? I'm not sure if you answered it, but I see you handling these. I want to know if you varnish, and if so, what do you use? These ones, because I don't play with them, they aren't varnished. Actually, this one is, because we used an ink. So he's probably a bit more durable, but the rest aren't. If you're not going to be touching them too much, then I wouldn't bother using a varnish. If you're gaming, yeah, you know, you're going to be handling like this. Paint will eventually chip off, so definitely do a varnish if you're going to be handling them a lot. Where is the Dark Angel from earlier? He is over here before we wrap things up. Here's where the bad boy is. We got to doing the decal on his little banner and a couple of more details, so we will finish him up next time, I think. We just started 1,000 points, 1,000 Suns army. Would you paint all gold or all blue first? I would paint all blue first. I like painting the trim separately. If not anything for practice, like it will make you a better painter if you can learn to control the brush and picking out the trim. If you're after speed, you know, you can definitely just go gold first and then pick out the blue with like contrast paints or something. But me personally, I would do the blue first and then pick out the gold. You gotta let this man go to bed. Yeah, look at this, I'm 10 minutes over time here. Where's getting paid double time and a half to be here, you know. Appreciate it though. Best YouTuber. You guys are really nice. Thank you. And of course, you guys over on TikTok too. Appreciate it. I'm glad it feels like he's ignoring the TikTok people now. Nah, I gotta share the love. Can't be ignoring my fans either side of the fence. You're off the rest of the day. Please sleep soon. Great stream. Thanks guys. No, I do appreciate it. Look, it's a video game. I'm really confused. Forgive my ignorance. It is a video game. There's Space Marine, there's Warhammer Dawn of War, but primarily it is a tabletop war game. These little figurines, they go to battle and they fight each other. It's 40,000 years into the future. That's all we do. It's only war. It's grimdark, baby. That's why we do it. Alright guys, I am going to have to call it here. I am very appreciative to have you guys here for the night. It's been a good little hobby sesh. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. Good luck painting. And if you want to hang around for a little bit, I will put this just on a holding screen if you guys are chatting. I know there's a lot of chat flying in the YouTube chat especially, but really appreciate you guys hanging out. So thank you very much. Yeah, I might see you next time. Maybe tomorrow night. Who knows? All right. Cheers, guys. All the best. Take care. Peace.